Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elijah. This is a commentary channel. I discuss pop culture and things like that. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Today, we will be talking about Love, Victor. Yesterday was the series finale of the series, and I have some thoughts. I've been watching Love, Victor since it was first announced. I've always kind of had a problem with it. Like season 1, it was cute, it was fine. Season 2 was actually kind of good. I'm not even going to hold you. Season 2 was kind of good. And in season 3, kind of just like, it was all the flaws that I've noticed in the series compiled in one season. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is bad. If I look into Love, I've noticed to my side. Love, Victor, when it was first announced, or just even like the entire like franchise as a whole, it was pushing a message that the show just never pushed. Like it tried to push it, or that was like the front of the show, but it just never gave what it was supposed to give. The message that the show was pushing, they was trying to push that this was going to be like a Love Simon, but from a brown perspective and or a person of color perspective. That's not exactly what this show was. I mean, it kind of was. Like, it was basically Love Simon, but just with another skin color, and that's not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a whole other experience, a whole other perspective from what we've seen from the white gay perspective, because that's been there, done that several times. This is supposed to be something different, and it was different at first, or it kind of was moving towards that different, and it just dropped it. Like with the 3 seasons that this show has made, each season slowly loses the plot. It disappears completely by the time season 3 hits. I skimmed through season 3 because I was not watching that shit. I was spoiled weeks ago, and I was okay, I kind of know how it's going to end. So I just saved myself the time and the heartache, and I just looked at the summary to the last episode. I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. I knew that was going to happen. And I just ended up just going back to episode 1 of season 3, and I just ended up just skimming through whatever part I just didn't feel like watching. Anytime Benji's name is mentioned, I skipped it. I didn't care. I don't care for that man, I'm sorry. Even though it's not the black perspective, elements of the show kind of fits the POC background. It kind of fits like the religious aspect, depending on like if your parents are religious. I know my parents are religious, and I know about the fear of coming out, and I know about how it's a lot different from white gay people of coming out. It's like situations might be similar, but it's never going to be the same as if you look like this. No matter if you're a person of color, it's not going to be the same experience, period. Like, I watched 4 minutes of season 3 of the first episode of season 3, and I was done. I was not going to sit there and watch that shit. I wasn't going to sit there and give my full time and attention to this show when it clearly gave up what the purpose of it. It lost all of its meaning just from the season alone. Like it kind of gave that they used this POC perspective to seem more woke and progressive. They just wanted to seem like they was moving the conversation, but they didn't move anything, because several times in the story they back out of what the story is supposed to be about. There's times when it's like, okay, we're moving forward, and there's like, nope, throw it away. They threw away multiple plot lines, threw away multiple conversations in the show for the sake of whiteness, and it was mind-boggling to see it happen. Now I'm about to go through a list of my issues with the show in general. First off, we're gonna talk about is Benji. Benji is boring. Victor with Benji is boring. It's a story already told. We have multiple stories of interracial couples, of either it's black and white, or Asian and white, or brown and white. It's always something in white. Why does it have to be like that? I never understood. I understand, but it doesn't make sense as to why we constantly fall into this loop. And when I was kind of pissed when I started watching the show and I realized that Benji was this crush. I'll go, here we fucking go again, because it's like they always do this. They try to seem like, okay, like black queer people exist or brown queer people exist, but they always put us next to whiteness when it's very different. It is very different. If you look like this, it is a very different experience, period. And the fact that they just kept throwing Benji in our faces. Benji should not have been that much of a main character. He shouldn't have. Benji should have been, for season 1, Victor, like if they wanted to, I mean, they fucking already did, but if they really wanted to like use Benji, they could have just used Benji as a plot device to show us that Victor is actually gay and how his and what is going on with his sexuality, because like he could have been a boy passing. He could have just been someone that he probably hooked up with once or twice and moved along. He didn't need Benji. He didn't need Benji, because throughout the show, Benji is rendered useless. His impact on the story should not have exceeded season 2. If since they got together, whatever, fine, they get together season 1, season 2, they're together, but they're arguing every day. Mind you, they're arguing every freaking day. It should not, after that conversation of when Victor told Benji, you don't understand because you're white, and Benji literally said, no, you're wrong. Like, he literally looked at Victor and said, no, you're wrong, and stormed off. People will say that Victor's mom was homophobic and she was just being a bad person, which she relatively was. But Benji was instigating the situation, knowing that Victor was not comfortable with his mom or whatever like that, and he would just purposely piss her off. And for that, Benji's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. That should have been it. They should have been done. So it was kind of crazy that when they made Victor say that to him, that they still ended up together at the end of the story. That makes no sense. His reaction was unwarranted and gave no progression. Like, it was dumb. It was dumb. Like, Victor's proximity to whiteness was way too close for this story to truly be the POC perspective. It's way too close, because the second his first crush is Benji, a white man. Then we have basically all his friends are basically white besides Mia and Andrew. Then we have season 3, he falls in love. I mean, he dates this other white boy. Get into that later. He's just bouncing around white people all the time. And it's like, yes, like, you know, people of color, they have white friends. I have white friends. It's perfectly fine. Like, nothing is wrong with that. But the issue is, this is like literally centered around a white person. Benji was centered around the story when he should not have been. And it's crazy to me because throughout the story, Benji is seen to be toxic and not good for Victor, but for some reason they rather Victor end up with a toxic white boy than him actually end up with somebody that actually makes him happy. Do you see how they just do not care? Do you see how they had multiple outs from that plot line, but they kept jumping back to it because it was more comfortable for people? Like, this isn't that kind of, like, it should not have been that kind of story. Who cares if white people are comfortable watching a story when they're not the main character? This shouldn't be, like, yeah, fine, it can be relatable to certain degrees, but it should not have been centered around whiteness. Like, it was so centered around Benji that Benji zapped any personality Victor had for himself. You watch or rewatch Love Victor in your head, and Victor has no personality. Victor is literally centered around Benji. Victor constantly thinks about Benji. But there's an argument, it's about Benji. If there's something going on, it's about Benji. If something needs to happen, it's about Benji. If something goes wrong, it's Benji. If Victor can't think straight, it's because he's thinking about Benji. Like, it's so much Benji when this is Love Victor. This was Love Benji. Fine. Act a damn fool about Benji. I don't care. But why is he stripping the POC character of any form of development and personality? It's just really irking. Like, I was rooting for this show, and it irks me so bad that they went this route. And it's crazy because even when they don't talk in season 3, he still somehow ends up with Benji. Make that make sense. How in a season with you're talking to Rahim and Nick, all these different people, and you still end up with Benji? Do you, like, it's so annoying. My next gripe that I have with Love Victor is how they handled Rahim. Rahim is an amazing addition to the cast, and he's actually a really good, like, the person who plays Rahim, he's a good actor. Like, it's like he does a phenomenal job with Rahim as a character, but it's the way that they added him in this story and then just paid him no attention. Like, he's just there for a plot device for Victor to just be freaking Victor, and then we just pay Rahim dust. Rahim is paid dust. Rahim is there, and then he's just not. Then he's there, then he's just not. It's like everyone else around Rahim is developing, and they just let Rahim just sit there for the sake of Benji once again. Like, because, and I just hate that they treated him as a plot device instead of an actual character, because Rahim has a character. He is a character. Season 2, we've been through what he goes through as a feminine, brown, gay male. It's very hard for him to get out in the dating scene, and he's never had a boyfriend, and he has to go home to his Muslim family, and he's very contradicting, coming out and being who he is, and he talks to Victor about it, and then there is a whole character there, and they throw him in the background. And when he's not in the background, like in season 3, he's with, it's all about Benji again. It's all about freaking Benji again. And it's like, why can't Rahim just be Rahim outside of that whole Victor and Benji BS? Sure, they kissed, sure, whatever. Leave that shit alone. We don't need him around Benji. Benji does not need to be with Rahim, because guess what? Him tutoring Benji went nowhere. It did nothing for nobody. He got an A on a freaking test and that was it. Whoop-de-doo. But it did nothing for the actual plot of the freaking show. Just to keep it freaking real, the writers were lazy. They were freaking lazy to actually do something with Rahim and Victor, because Rahim and Victor would have been a perfect conclusion to this story, because this is no longer centered around white men. This is different. It's different. It's not centered around white people no more. It's different. Like, Rahim gave Love Victor a breath of fresh air. His relationship with Victor was gorgeously, like season 2, it was, their relationship was fleshed out amazing. There was actual chemistry. There was a beginning, middle, and an end, unfortunately, but there were still steps that were taken till we got to them actually liking each other. You could see the mutual attraction. With Benji and Victor, you don't get that. Season 1, Victor has a crush on Benji. They work together. They go out to do like something for their job, and then Victor accidentally kisses Benji, and then all of a sudden at the end of the series, Benji's in love with Victor and they kiss. Like, it's so random and stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And I also love how Rahim and Victor, they were able to like each other and talk to each other and actually have personalities with each other, and not one person being absorbed by it. Even with Victor being the main character, Rahim's character wasn't absorbed by Victor. They were still separate people who still were able to have conversation and still exist. That scene when Victor and Rahim are singing at the gay bar is probably one of the best scenes to me in queer media, and it really pisses me off that scene means nothing now. That entire scene means nothing now for the sake of Benji, and it really irks me to the core. It really does. But it's not the same thing with Benji and Victor. Benji is there, Victor is gone. Victor cannot be his own person when he's with Benji, and that's what makes us why they ended up together, because that was kind of a plot line that was going on too, where Victor had to make himself stop thinking about Benji, because all he did was think about Benji, which would have been great for him to actually move on from Benji, which he was doing in season 3. Y'all see how it don't make sense? And it's just so crazy, because thankfully they did let Rahim end up alone at the end of the series. I ain't grateful for that, but Rahim and Connor, if you don't know, Connor is Rahim's boyfriend at the end of the story. They get no screen time. Every relationship in this story gets screen time besides the 2 brown people in the relationship. They get no screen time. Well, the 2 gay brown people in the relationship, they end up no screen time. They get like 2 scenes together and they're just like, okay, bye, have fun. Like, Rahim even said that they kissed on the way home. Why didn't we see that? Why didn't we see that? We get everyone else having some form of storyline and some form of relationship stuff going on, but Rahim would just go have fun behind this camera. Rahim and Connor, even though they didn't get much screen time, they were still one of the cutest couples to me outside of Mia and Andrew, because they actually had a lot. You could feel that there was some chemistry there, and they had like a little conversations that were cute. And just like, why didn't we develop that more? Why didn't I give a little bit more? We'll never know. All right, now it's time to talk about Victor. I said this on Twitter a bunch of times. Victor's just a very unserious character. Like I said multiple times, no personality. He has barely any growth throughout the story. He falls back into the same shit every single time. I wish, if I had $1 for every time Victor has said Benji's name throughout season 1 to season 3, I'd be filthy ass rich. I'll be filthy ass rich because he constantly talks about Benji. It's annoying. It's annoying. Like, it's one thing, to like, I guess, be in love, but it's a whole entire other thing when you're just center your character around this person. Like, when is he going to shut up about Benji? Even when he's dating other people in season 3, he's still talking about Benji. Why? If you're at Nick, though Nick sucks ass too as a character, if you're at Nick, why are you even bothering about Benji? You moved on. You have clearly moved on. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. It makes my brain swirl, because it just doesn't add up to me at all. And it's just so obvious that they didn't even know what to do with their main character. They had zero clue what to do with their main character. They had no idea what to do with Victor after season 1. They said, well, Victor just came out to his family. What goes on now? The at-home plotline with Victor and his family was well executed. I actually think it was really nice for his mom to be really struggling with coming to terms with it, and Victor trying to like, they're trying to meet at the middle, and then Benji comes along and fucks it up, and then they had Victor actually grow as a character to tell Benji, hey, you gotta back off. This is my family. I understand you're going through your own shit, but this is my family. You don't understand what's going on. And instead of just having it dead there and him actually keep growing and grow past Benj, because Benji is toxic, they just brought him right back down because it's like, they're about to break up. We don't want that. We don't want Victor to end up with Rahim. We can't have two brown people in love on this on screen. We can't have that. That's not how life works. And it's just so crazy to me that in season 3, when they remove him from Benji, the entire season, right? They end up with, they push him to another white guy. Like, fine. If you didn't want Victor to end up with Rahim, at least let Victor fall back on Rahim and they end up dating for a bit. At least give us that. Why would you introduce this love triangle in season 2, and season 2 with the love triangle being a mystery, for then him not to go back to the person that was in the love triangle? Like, what? Who is Nick? Why are we getting introduced to Nick? What is that? It'd been one thing if there was like, it would have been good if they was like, okay, fine. Benji says, we need a break. I'm going to rehab. And then Victor falls back on Rahim, was like, Like, just be like, can we just stay friends? After he generally had a connection to Rahim, there was a connection there. But once again, Victor needs Benji. Without Benji, who the fuck is Victor? Because no one fucking knows. My next issue with Love Victor is the straight couples. And when I mean straight couple, I mean me and Andrew. They're not an issue as like a couple. I just mean the fact that like, the amount of tension they have and how well written they are as a couple is kind of unnerving, because we have to deal with the main character being in like this terrible situation with Benji, and he is getting paid dust. Like, there's no development, like there's no chemistry between Victor and Benji. It's boring. And then when we actually got somebody that gave Victor personality and chemistry and all this stuff like that, it was tossed aside. And then we have me and Andrew, whose characters have grown since season 1 and whose relationship has grown since season 1. Like, there should be no reason why the heterosexual couple is my favorite couple in the entire series. Like, what life is this? What is this? Why are they the best part of the show? Why? I mean, one of the best parts. There's multiple. I'm not multiple, but there's a few things I like about the show that we'll get into at the end of the video. But it's like, why are they my favorite couple? And what they did extremely well with Mia and Andrew, which is I think they should have done for a lot of the couples in the show, is that they were fleshed out throughout this season. It wasn't like season 1 they got together, season 2 they're fighting, and season 3, like pretty much what happened with Victor and Benji, they got together way too quickly. And then because they got together way too quickly, they had zero chemistry or zero anything to work with in season 2. So what they did in season 2 was argue the entire time. And in season 3, they had to fix it. Like, it was just too much back and forth, when they could have just fleshed, like, fine, they want to do interracial couple, fine. But why not flesh it out throughout the season? Why not at the end of season 3 they end up together? Why not at the end of, like, some tension? The tension was too soon. So when they got back together, it's like, y'all didn't resolve nothing. Y'all didn't fix nothing. Y'all still gonna argue out to get the fuck off the Ferris wheel. So I'm still confused. I'm still very much confused as to why they were fleshed out so poorly, but me and Andrew are fleshed out wonderfully. It was like a whole plot that was slowly developing and fits their character. Instead, we didn't get that with the gay couples though. All the gay couples got paid dust. Another issue I have with Love Victor, the fast pace. Love Victor is extremely fast paced, and which is why, at least to a lot of the fact there's only 8 episodes. like, I mean, I can't even blame it on the 8 episodes, because Heartstopper had 8 episodes and it was done perfectly. If it's not perfect, it's damn near perfect. Heartstopper had 8 episodes and it was done damn near perfect. Each character had a character arc. Each character had development. Each character went through their own. Not one character was put over the other besides the two. Obviously, Nick and Charlie going on a rant, but Nick and Charlie are the main characters, but the other characters had lives that you've seen. You've seen the development of everyone's relationship. So why in Love Victor, you had the same amount of 8 episodes, pretty much the same amount of time, and we're rushing? Why is it moving like this? Like, why are we zooming through the plot? Like, season 3 was Season 3, I remember I was skipping through episodes. Like I would skip. I would just like you know, like on Hulu you could skip 10 seconds at a time. I was skipping 10 seconds at a time, and I blinked. I was on episode 5, and I was just on episode 1. I was like, whoa! I only skipped like about like 5 scenes. So what happened? Like I was just zooming through the season, and I'm like, should it be going this fast? And even the things I skipped, I still missed no information. So it's like I skipped what needed to be skipped, and the story still remained garbage. It's like it still remained garbage. Like Felix and Pilar, they were saying they loved each other on episode 2. They just got together like in Love Victor time like 2 days ago, and then they broke up like episode 4 or episode 5. And it's like, how do we? What happened to the plot of the movie? How are we leaping miles? We're not walking or running miles. We're leaping miles. And then Lake and Lucy, though Lake's sexuality was a bit like random, there was no development towards her liking Lucy at all. It was just like they just wanted to mix it up. There's like, ooh, we need to make something up. And I'm here for the sapphic representation. Like I'm really glad that I was actually waiting for, like, I was like, why do we not have like a lesbian couple going on? And like I feel like everybody's dating everybody. Like where's the lesbian couple? And I'm glad that we finally got it in this season. But my issue with it, not with it, but my issue with how they handled it was that it was extremely rushed. Lake and Lucy deserved the amount of time everyone else got. They deserved the time that me and Andrew got. Because I just feel like they had like one kiss. There was no development towards them actually saying they loved each other. And I could tell that, like, I could tell there were things that were happening off screen, but why is it off screen? Why is this off screen? Why do I have to imagine what happened throughout the series? Why am I imagining things for a show that's literal visual? If there was a book, fine, it's a book. This is literally, I'm watching it. Why do I have to imagine anything when you're showing me what's supposed to be happening? Lake and Lucy deserved a date on screen. And I'm so mad we didn't at least get one date. At least one date would have been nice to see. And it's like they said, it was just like they got together and they just jumped to sex, and then they jumped to I love you. She's staying on Creekwood now because they love each other, which is cute, which I loved. But it's like, why did we jump to that? Why is it not taking time? Why is it? I get there's a time limit, but why not flesh it out within that time limit? Why are you rushing things? Like season 2 was not rushed with the same amount of time, so why are you rushing this? And then like the finale was one of the worst finales I've ever watched in my entire life. Like we have Victor's dad quitting his job out of nowhere. We didn't even get to see what that will happen. It's off screen yet again. Then they start a new business. Then it was just like things were just rushing at that last like 10 minutes of the show, and I was like, I got whiplash. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, why are we zooming to the end? Is this supposed to be like the grand finale of this groundbreaking show? Why are we zooming to the end? I actually was really like, maybe there's, okay, fine, the season's ass, but at least we're gonna end good. I saw the credits roll. I looked at what episode it was on. I said episode 8. It was recommending another show. I'm like, what the fuck? We done? That's it? Like, what happened? What happened to the show? They were just throwing words on a page, throwing shit to a wall, hoping it stuck. And they said, yep, that's the plot. We're done. And it was scrambled. They didn't even unscramble the fucking words. They just said, yep, we're done. Yep, we're done. We got the plot lines done. We're not gonna worry about this anymore. And that's why it felt rushed as shit. They was randomly putting people together, randomly breaking people up, people saying I love you 2 episodes in. I was really just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, there was no conclusion to anyone's character but me and Andrew. Me and Andrew had a really nice send-off. There was actually a moment I was like, oh, this is really sweet. Like no, Victor says, be brave, everybody. And then everybody started being brave. And then Mia goes to say, like, Andrew, I'm gonna be with you. We're gonna work through this together. And that was beautiful. Brought tears to my eyes. It didn't. But it was cute. I was like, yeah, I could roll with this. And then with Lake and Lucy, like I said, like, fun, a good conclusion. A good conclusion, but how we got to that conclusion was a bit. We was zooming through to that conclusion, and I wish it stayed. I wish we got a little bit more fleshed out with Victor and Benji. I hope that Ferris wheel crashed on them. I really wish it did. Like, they had no chemistry throughout the season or the series as a whole, and still ended up together. Like, I don't get that. And I understand that this series was ending. I get that, like, you know, when things get canceled, you just kind of gotta get shit done on a page and just reach the deadline. But my thing is, if you're making this groundbreaking show and people are looking up to the show so they can feel seen, wouldn't it be good or just amazing to send it off right? But instead, they just like didn't care. They said, no, sorry y'all, I know you guys look to the show for representation, but fuck it. But fuck it. We don't give a fuck. And this is no hates to the actors. I want to make that, because the actors did a phenomenal job. No hates to the actors. There's nothing wrong with the actors. I loved everybody who was cast. The issue is just the writing. The issue is just the writing. I don't know where the hell they was going with it, but the writing is bad. It's bad. And one of the last things that I just didn't like about Love Victor is kind of outside the show is the Twitter page. The Love Victor Twitter page was a menace to society. I will not dive into it that much. It gave nothing. It did nothing but push the Benji propaganda. And then there was like a low key. It was a little racism in there I seen. But trust, Love Victor page, you will be dealt with. I will come for you. Will be dealt with respectfully. Trust. Overall, as a series, Love Victor was like, it's okay, I guess. If they just went about the day, say, yeah, this is just like Love Simon 2.0, like if that this is what you're getting. Alright, cool. I know what I'm getting into. Fine, I'll still watch it, but I know what I'm getting into. I'm not gonna expect nothing of it. Love Simon had a questionable plot. It was very questionable. I ate it up as a teenager. I ate it up a lot, but looking back on it, and after a couple of rewatches, it was a very questionable movie. So I would not expect much from Love Victor. Like the show had good moments. And even season 3 had a little bit of good moments, but it just doesn't fully distract from the real issue of the show. And that's what pisses me off, is that I couldn't even fully enjoy it because the flaws would just punch me in my throat. Anyway, here's a list of the things I liked about Love Victor. I enjoyed the comedy. It was good-ish. I had a couple of chuckle moments, things I related to. The home life of Victor was very funny. Like his mom and dad were really funny together. I really enjoyed that. Me and Andrew were really cute together. I actually enjoyed the couple. Like they're gonna get married. Like that's like they like this. They like this. They're not going nowhere. Lake, very funny character. Sometimes they try to force a lot of pop culture references through her. Season 2, she ate it up a bit, but this season they didn't really stick sometimes. Rahim, love Rahim to death. That's my homeboy. The Salazars, they had some tea. The tea came from the thumb. Fuck everybody else. Salazar had the tea. They had cheating, beating on bosses, cursing bosses out. I was like, yeah, I'm here for the mess. I like me some mess. I like some family mess. Victor in his Rahim era, like Victor ex Rahim. In that era, he was good to watch. Connor with Rahim, amazing. I love them together. And Rahim and his mom, I love that scene when Rahim is like, I'm not hiding again for nobody, and he's just crying. It's not like you never have to hide again. Hiding gets him nowhere but depressed, and like he's just like, I'm never gonna hide again. That was beautiful. That's a good send-off. I won't lie, that's a good send-off. Actually, I teared up a little bit. I'm not gonna hold you. That's my video about Love Victor. Don't be afraid to subscribe if you liked the video. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. And if you have a comment, don't be afraid to comment, because listen, this is a growing channel. Help me grow this channel. We hit 105 subscribers in like a month, and I was like, whoa, like that's a win in my book. It's small, but it's big in my book. Anybody who interacts in my video, I thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.